How is everybody doing? Positive and productive, I hope. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me. Hey, do me a favor and share the content with friends, family, anybody that you think the content is relevant to. Remember, local elections are more important than national elections, but dollars are stronger than votes. They won't stop until we stop them. Liberation comes at a cost. Who's willing to pay for it? So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit of an interesting story. Before we jump into this, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you put a purple heart in the comment section. It really does a lot for the algorithm, and we appreciate it. So, this story right here, I'm going to just show you a little bit. The lawyer on the right is having a back and forth with a judge. A few different things. One, the lawyer didn't file the necessary paperwork that should have been completed and filed in a timely fashion. Also, the client that the lawyer is representing is not in court, and the other lawyer, I guess the prosecutor, is probably going to make the argument or attempts to make the argument that the client isn't going to come because there's an active warrant. So there's a little bit of a back and forth. I want to play a little bit of it. I want to point out a few different things as well, but it really goes a lot crazier than what most people realize. And then there's a very interesting caveat. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. There's a very interesting caveat at the end of this that I want to point out, and it almost debunks the whole thing. So without further ado, let's jump in.
There's any need in going forward today?
We were back to the issue at hand, which was you asked me to not provide testimony on behalf of my client. You asked me what paragraph it was. I pointed you to the exact paragraph.
Stop.
It's her education.
Stop.
Stop because you don't want to hear what the argument is.
Stop. You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
wipe that smirk off.
I don't have a
your face.
smirk on my face.
Oh, yes, you do.
I do not.
I am not going to tolerate.
And just really quickly, I want to back up a little bit, and I know that wasn't much, but I just want to back up just slightly, right? And notice this, and this is just something I just noticed right here. I didn't even pay attention previously when I saw this. However, as the lawyer is trying to make their argument, for whatever reason, the judge says, hold on, stop. And the lawyer begins to explain, or the judge begins to explain something, and then you see very condescendingly, in my opinion, and maybe not condescendingly, but then there was, you want me to stop because you don't like why is it that we're at a place in time where people honestly don't have respect for authority any longer? And I mean, realistically, just from the perspective of lawyers and law and different things like that, paralegal, you respect the lawyer, you respect the trial lawyer, you respect the judge or the district attorney. Like you respect the person who's higher above you because they've done what you've done already. Like, why is that not a thing anymore? And we can point out why that is. I'm not going to go there, but anyway, let's continue.
Me what paragraph it was. I pointed you to the exact paragraph.
Stop.
It's her education.
Stop.
Stop because you don't want to hear what the argument is.
Stop. You interrupt me one more time, you are being held in direct contempt of court, and
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
wipe that smirk off.
I don't have a
your face.
smirk on my face.
Oh, yes, you do.
I do not.
I am not going to tolerate this from you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. There was a pause. There was a break. I wasn't done with my argument.
And I was not done with my statement. You interrupted again. Do not throw your...
I did not throw. It fell off the bench. Please stop stating things that are not true, ma'am.
Sir, you've got a room full of witnesses.
I do. I put it down. I did. I put it down and it fell down. I did not fall.
Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. From our perspective, we probably cannot see that there is a little bit of a bench right there or a little holding area where they place their files, their briefings, and different things of that nature. So I'm not going to say that the lawyer threw it, and I'm going to continue to use the lawyer and different things of that nature because, we're not just going to do pronouns here. We're just not going to do it. But the lawyer, so I'm not going to say that the lawyer threw the phone on the floor. What I will say is that the lawyer did toss the phone down in frustration. So we can see that clearly the person was frustrated with the with what the judge had been saying, and clearly they tossed their phone down, whether it was on the floor or whether they just threw it down. So tossed it down, threw it down. Here's the thing. You didn't set it down in a manner that was silent, that would suggest you are not frustrated or that you don't have a little bit of anxiety, or let's just be for real, realistically, we already understand that you have more than disrespect for me at this moment. And that's why you're doing what you're doing, but it's okay. Let's continue.
And settle down.
I'm not upset, and I'm not arguing. You're not letting me make an argument. I'm not red in the face, ma'am. I'm not.
Stop. Our court reporter get what we're both saying.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to keep in mind, and let's just adjust our volume a little bit on my end. It's probably good on your end, but on my end, it's just not. So keep in mind, I'm not making my argument, ma'am. I wasn't finished saying what I was saying, ma'am. I'm being interrupted, ma'am. Keep in mind, this is the whole premise of what this lawyer is asking or requesting, that they have not been allowed to make an argument, complete a statement, and or finish what they are saying, correct? Let's continue.
I am trying to make my argument. You interrupted my argument halfway through on an objection.
That will get every available deputy in
Yes, ma'am, I'm aware. It's happened to me before.
It has.
Yes.
Because you're out of line
Yeah,
with court.
I guess so.
Okay. If I push that
Or maybe
button,
because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state.
I don't know what you are.
You do, ma'am. It's not that you do.
So I don't know if you guys heard that or caught that. Again, the volume on my end is a little bit low, so let's see if we can fix it this time. All right, so what the lawyer just said was something to the effect of a transgender lawyer. And the judge said, I don't know what you are. I don't know what you are, right? So listen, I don't know, and I don't know if you're a Christian, a Catholic. I don't know if you're a transgender. I don't know if you're a Buddhist, if you practice I don't know if you're a triathlon runner, an Iditarod participant. I don't know what you are. I don't know. That's not important right now. That's not. But remember, I haven't been able to complete my argument. I've continuously been cut off. That's very important. That's the crux of this, ladies and gentlemen.
Out of line
Yeah,
with court.
I guess so.
Okay. If I push that
Or maybe
button,
because I'm a transgender attorney practicing all over the state.
I don't know what you are.
You do, ma'am. It's not that you do.
So we are pausing this until you get the ADA request form filled out and it gets processed.
So we're going to pause a hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice. I drove an hour and a half to have the hearing. My client's available telephonically, and we are simply not even taking testimony.
Is your client?
So, and the judge, I don't know if you guys could even see this. The judge is actually trying to give some leeway, because now let's actually play what the judge says. I'm sorry, I did that wrong right there. Actually, you'll hear what the judge says. The judge asks, is the client available? But did you notice what the judge previously said? The paperwork wasn't filed. And now, so then did you hear what the lawyer said? So because the paperwork's not filed and I had to drive an hour and a half away, and because I had to, and because, so no, not because of all the other shit that you just said. No, I didn't say because you drove an hour and a half away and because of this, and I didn't say any of that. What I said was because of what I just said.
So we are pausing this until you get the ADA request form filled out and
So we're pausing this until we get the ADA form filled out.
it gets processed.
So we're going to pause a hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice.
We're pausing this till we get the ADA form filled out and it gets processed. So why are we pausing this? We're pausing this until you get the ADA form filled out and it gets processed. That's the reason why we're pausing this.
So we are pausing this until you get the ADA request form filled out and it gets processed.
So we're going to pause a hearing on jurisdiction that's been set twice. I drove an hour and a half to have the hearing. My client's available telephonically, and we are simply not even taking testimony.
Is your client available telephonically?
Yes, ma'am.
today?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Your Honor, but
Now, this is where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it gets you. Hopefully, you guys are sticking with me. I promise you, this is a good video. I promise you. I won't disappoint you guys, ladies and gentlemen. So now, remember the crux of our argument. I haven't been allowed to complete my argument. I've been cut off multiple times. You haven't allowed me to finish saying what I'm saying. And the reason why we're not doing this hearing today, even though it's been set 2 times previous, and even though you had to drive an hour and a half away, is because the ADA form hasn't been completed or filled out, right? Or processed. That's the reason why we're pausing this. But you know what? What did the judge say? If your client is ready via telephonically, get them on the phone.
And we are simply not even taking testimony.
Is your client available telephonically?
Yes, ma'am.
today?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Your Honor, which we would object. This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant or stealing
Objection, you're saying that's not true. And you're ready
You will find, sir,
Don't
that
put me and stare me or shout at me.
So I told you, this is where it gets interesting. I want to back up a little bit. Now remember, I was cut off. I wasn't allowed to finish saying what I'm saying, right? Remember that? Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back just a little bit.
has a warrant or stealing
Objection, you're saying that's not true. And you're ready
You will find, sir,
Don't
that
put me and
So I want to back up just a little bit more so maybe you guys can hear it a little bit. But now understand something. The prosecutor, I believe, is trying to make an argument to say why they believe the woman isn't going to appear in court. Before they could say what the warrant is for, what jurisdiction, the whole in totality where the judge could now, say, is this true, whatever, and give the defense a time to object to the argument before he could even finish the whole his whole surmising of the warrant. Let's go.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Well, then get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Your Honor, which we would object. This is as clear as the nose on my face that this woman will not appear before this court because she has a warrant or stealing
Objection, you're saying that's not true. And you're ready
You will find, sir,
Don't put me and stare me or shout at me.
I'm not putting it on there.
No, we're stopping.
Get out of my face, sir. Get out of my face, sir.
You may step
Get
back.
out of my face.
You should leave this county.
Get out of my face. Get out of my
These
face.
people are my friends, and you're being ugly.
And get out of my face.
Now this is where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen. This is where it gets really, it was already noteworthy to say, hey, I'm looking over there, but now it's interesting.
Put your hand behind
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
She shouted at me. No, I'm not.
So let's back up. Do you already see what just happened? So I want to explain something why, and we're going to make a lot of parallels and comparisons with this video, ladies and gentlemen. And I told you I got a Easter egg. There's a caveat hidden in here at the end, somewhere towards the end of this, that I think it's extremely noteworthy. Okay. Now, mind you, what just happened here is that now the sheriff, it looks like the sheriff or a deputy of some sort, says, put your hands behind your back. Why? The judge says you are being placed in contempt, continuous contempt or something to the effect of that. Well, he shouted at me. So understand where we are in society. A direct instruction by authority was given. You have a question. You don't comply, you question. Another authority figure, even over the authority figure who just gave you a direct order, now explains the why. Because you're being placed under contempt. And now your response is, well, he shouted at me. Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what's going on? This is a cultural thing in America. This is really a cultural thing in America. Excuse me, license and registration, please. Why? Because you were doing 65 and a 35 mile an hour. So license and registration, please. Well, the other guy right there tried to cut me off and he tried to... Do I have to give you other scenarios? Do I have to give you other scenarios? Excuse me, ma'am, do you have any ID? Why? Because Walmart wants you, they want to trespass you. They want you off the property. They've asked you multiple times. So now we want you to leave. Well, he called me a nigger and he called me and he told me Do I got to give y'all more, ladies and gentlemen? Listen, hey, I could do this all day. Which brings up an even more interesting point, which is now, why will you guys call me names and tell me I'm wrong for pointing out the behaviors that we all see to know to be true? See, understand something, ladies and gentlemen. See, it all goes back to the Constitution, because these things are self-evident. We know them to be true because they are self-evident, right? So now we're at a place and stage where things are self-evident, but now people don't know them to be true. Do you understand? So now, let's continue, because I need you to place your hands behind your back. Why? Because you're being placed under contempt. But he shouted at me.
And you're being ugly.
And get out of my face.
Put your hands behind your back.
Why?
Because you're in direct contempt of court.
He shouted at me. No, I'm not being. You did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
No, I'm not.
Judge, I
Nice stuff.
apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person. The screaming and the yelling in court, I've never even heard that before in this courtroom.
So just back up. I don't know if you heard what that woman said. So, and then, I don't want to go back that far. So place your hands behind your back. Why? You're being placed in direct contempt of court. But he shouted at me. No, but you can't, and this isn't, and so now we got a lot of different things. And then he said, you can't do that. So why do we tell the police what they can't do? Clearly I'm doing this. How are you telling me I can't do this as the judge? I'm the judge. Now, whether you believe it's wrong for me to do it, that's a whole nother thing. But to tell me I can't do it, you can't tell me I can't do it. Now, because I'm not going to say, you can't say, I can't say. You see what I'm saying? Because of course you can. Of course you can. I'm doing it. Let's continue. And then you hear what the woman said. She said, I felt very threatened by this person. The screaming and the shouting, we've never had that in this courtroom before. We don't do that here. So let's continue, because I told you later, no, it gets interesting. I'm holding you guys in suspense. So if you hadn't placed your purple heart yet in the comment section, make sure you do that, and or like the comment, like the video, and share it with friends and family. So if you haven't done that yet, now's the time. Trust me, it's gonna be really good. And I got an Easter egg. I promise you, there's one of the craziest caveats at the end of this. Let's continue.
No, I'm not being. You did not even say that I was in
You are
contempt.
in direct.
I'm not.
Judge, I
Nice stuff.
apologize, but I felt very threatened by this person. The screaming and the yelling in court, I've never even heard that before in this courtroom.
Do not hurt me. Do not hurt me.
Put your hands on your back.
Do not. Are you throwing me over the...
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
Okay. Put your hands on your back. Stop resisting.
You know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you all walk that way so you
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
just settle down, walk that way.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not.
I want to back up just a little bit for two reasons. Did you notice how much offense the lawyer took it when the deputy, I guess, tried to bend them over? I'm sorry. I caught that, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Why don't you all walk that way so you
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
Just settle down, walk that way.
Settle down. Do not.
And then, remember, do you remember when the lawyer also said to the judge, you're saying things that aren't true? Remember, don't throw your phone down. You're saying things that aren't true. They said they were being thrown down. Nobody was throwing them down. But let's continue, because look at how the lawyer reacted to being bent over.
Do not hurt me. Do not hurt me.
Put your hands behind your back.
Are you throwing me over this?
Stop resisting.
I'm not resisting.
Okay. Put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting.
You know exactly what's
Why
happening.
don't you all walk that way so you
I can't walk. I'm being thrown down.
just settle down, walk that way.
Settle down. Do not grab me. Do not grab me. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me. You're hurting me. You're hurting me.
Now, I don't know if you guys saw the knee chop to the abdomen by the deputy on the left. I don't know if you guys saw that. And listen, people will say, well, Chusa, this is police brutality. This is no, it's not. It's a fight. It's not even a fight because, listen, I believe a fight has to have punches and or kicks. And then you can say, well, there was a knee. There was a knee. It's a scuffle, ladies and gentlemen. It's a scuffle is what it is. And here's the thing. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, I'm going to bring this caveat out. I hope you guys understand that this is a biological woman that these officers are doing this to. Which used to, how are you in favor of the police and you throw that fact of the matter out there? No. The reason why I'm making that reference is because understand, had that been a biological man, understand they would have been on the ground a lot quicker. Whether they used a weapon to do it or not, understand the amount of force used to subdue a man would have been a lot more force. More than likely, but I want to back up a little bit and let's continue. It gets good. We're not even at the great parts yet, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it's worth looking at now, right? It's where they got our attention. Let's continue.
What are you doing? What are you doing? You're hurting me. You're hurting me. You just take me. You just take me. Don't get me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Put your hands behind your back.
I cannot breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't
I know you guys are like, Chusta, why are you laughing? 2 officers are assaulting a woman. Hopefully you guys know that that's a transgender person there. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Why am I laughing? So I have to back up to let you guys know why I'm laughing, right? And understand something. I come from that area of the 80s where, we had older uncles that gave us noogies and wedgies and put us in headlocks and they did all this stuff to us and we cried to grandma and grandma told us to stop being a softie, right? That's the era I come from, right? So now understand something. And so now the adults, shout out to Candace, adults, right? The adults showed us how to use our minds when determining certain things, when people are saying certain stuff, when you can determine whether it's real or fake, correct? I don't know if you guys heard that, but the adults that raised me, they told me, listen, don't always use your emotions to make decisions. You have to use your mind and your logic. And when you use your mind and your logic, you're going to look at the things that people are saying. I heard what you say. Now I look at what you say to make sure the reality matches the verbiage. Understand? So now, Chusta, what do you mean? The lawyer explicitly and emphatically says, I can't breathe. I'm not a medical doctor, but the last time I checked, in order to speak, in order to have words, you have to be able to breathe in order to speak. It's impossible for you to speak without being able to breathe, ladies and gentlemen. So therefore, if I cannot breathe, I cannot speak. will also continue because there's an important caveat. Well, not the Easter egg caveat, but in this exchange right here, there's still something very important that you gotta look at. So, okay, here we are. The I can't breathe, the multiple I can't breathes, right? The multiple I can't breathes. And you know that's like a trope that they use now, you know, just the leftists and the radical left and the liberals and all those people and different names, but we're not going to go into all of that. But here's the thing though. I want you guys, and I'm going to back up just a little bit more. And you're like, Chusta, don't back up no more. So no. For every I can't breathe, for all of this whole encounter, this is what I need you to look at. Notice how the lawyer never drops their paperwork and or their cell phone. No. That is extremely important. That's important because understand something. I don't know about you, but when I was a little kid and I fell off the boat, off the little raft, and I was in the river and I was scared and I didn't think I could breathe, let me tell you something. I dropped my Capri Sun, I dropped my little moon pie, I dropped everything and my arms was failing all around because I couldn't breathe, right? Because last time I checked, when people can't breathe, their arms and their limbs flail crazily all around because they're gasping for air. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody who really couldn't breathe and honestly needing air because I didn't hear any words coming out their mouth and their limbs told a story that let you know they were in desperate need of something. What was it? Probably air.
You're hurting me! You just take me! You just take me! Don't give me! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! Put your hand behind your back. I cannot breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! I can't breathe! Somebody go on Iron Run! Please! Please!
Major security.
Did you hear him say somebody called 911? I'm surprised the deputies didn't say we are 911. That, to me, I just thought that would have been really hilarious, but it's okay. Let's continue.
Somebody go on Iron Run! Please! Please!
Major security.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Okay.
Ow! 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 Somebody call 911! I don't get a female officer now! Get a female officer now! Get a female officer now! There aren't any.
Ladies and gentlemen, get a female officer now. Ladies and gentlemen, so understand, listen, the whole do you know, look, I'm from the black community, right? I'm from the black community, and there's a thing that happens where a black person in a public setting will do something really stupid or say something really dumb, and it's like, you know what, you just set black people back like 5 or 6 years. Like, you shouldn't have said that. Like, you weren't supposed to do that. That just made us all look really dumb, right? This right here it destroyed the whole trans community. That destroyed you guys right there. So let me get this straight. You mutilate your genitals to be in opposite sex because you believe you are in the wrong body and all this whole crazy stuff. So now you want to be identified as a male. You will fight me for your pronouns. You want to go in the men's restroom. You want to wear 3-piece suits like a man. You want society to use the correct pronouns and address you as the man in society that you feel that you are. And now when officers officers are arresting you, besides saying call 911, you tell me to get female officers here. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. So if you need a female officer, mister, why do I need to call you sir? Because if a man tells me get a female officer, I'm gonna look at him like he's stupid. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call him a pussy. That's what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna say, what do you need a female officer for, you pussy? Your mama ain't here. Mommy can't save you. As a man, that's what another man's gonna say to another man, right? So now let me get this straight. I have to respect your pronouns. You wanna be able to go in any restroom you wanna go to, be able to be in certain spaces as men, correct? But now when you're being treated as the man in society that you've asked for, you want female officers. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine that. So now, is it safe for me to suffice that possibly in another situation, in another interaction, you may not want to be treated like the man that you so desire or feel that you want to be treated like? Is it safe for me to just suffice that? Or can I only say, you get to pick